Show me again, where did you fall from? Where did the vehicle came from?
Today on the Morning Edition, a deadlocked jury in the trial of a man behind the wheel of a 2019 Unalaska crash that killed 2 teens after their truck plunged 900 feet off a cliff. We have the details. Plus, police and the FBI search a home of an Anchorage officer as investigators look into a possible link to a missing man from Eagle River. And later,
like, I really want to show people that I really exist.
More than his heart condition, this week's Make-A-Wish Spotlight is Dominique, a teen with a big dream, proving you can do anything you put your mind to. Hear his inspiring story and who his biggest supporter is as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Thursday morning, everyone. It's that time of the week we have another amazing Make-A-Wish kid to introduce you to, and we'll update you on the miles that we've got so far.
Looking forward to hearing about those miles, as well as that heartwarming story. We saw it last week, and we'll see a new one, of course, today. But waking up this morning, we've got some fresh, fluffy, wet snow that's falling across South Central. That is leading to those wet roads across the region, and we're also expected to see some additional accumulation taking hold across a good portion of South Central as we continue to head through the rest of our Friday. We are talking about the likelihood that we could see several inches of that snow accumulation. 30 degrees is where we're holding at for the most part. Not expecting to see much in the way of that winds across South Central. You can see rain for the most part out towards Prince William Sound with some pockets of wintry mix, and then you can see snow all across the Kenai through the Anchorage Bowl with some light snow showers that have been falling through southern parts of the Mat-Su Valley. This is where we're going to be taking hold of that potential for some several inches of that snow accumulation. We're still seeing that winter weather advisory out towards western parts of Prince William Sound. That does include Turnagain Pass, where there's a potential for up to 10 inches of that snow accumulation. So we're going to keep with that snow chance for a large portion of the day. Into the afternoon hours, we could see an hour or so break in that action. Notice these darker colors of blue that we're seeing. This is where we're going to see more in the way of that fluffy, wet, heavier snow that's going to be falling. So take it easy on those roadways. While the roads themselves are wet and temperatures are sitting near freezing, snow is ice, so you will encounter some of those slick conditions across South Central through a large portion of the day. Looking at that snow total forecast, of course, through Turnagain Pass, western parts of Prince William Sound, higher elevations of the Chugach Range, this is where we'll pick up several inches of that snow accumulation, while western parts of the Kenai through the Anchorage Bowl and southern parts of the valley not faring as heavy with that snowfall, but we'll see several inches of that snow accumulation. I think it's overdoing it for the valley, as I think the valley will see more in the realm of about 1 to 3 inches, but here in Anchorage, we could pick up several inches of that snow accumulation. So take it easy on the roadways, keeping that drive time index at 3 due to that fluffy, wet snow and those slick roads you could encounter. Temperatures today will work their way near 40 degrees, but warmer conditions arrive this weekend. I'll have more on that 7-day forecast coming up.
In today's top story, the jury in the deadly Unalaska crash case is set to resume deliberating this morning. 24-year-old Dustin Ruckman is on trial. He was 18 when he claimed he lost control of his truck on Mount Ballyhoo, a crash that killed 16-year-old Carly McDonald and 18-year-old Kiara Rentaria Haste. Ruckman said he was thrown out of an open window. The jury contends they're deadlocked, but the judge is urging them to keep going and has even allowed them to review more evidence.
From the second note, we presume you are still working on deliberations. And so for now, I'll simply set aside your indication that you can't reach a verdict and let you continue deliberating.
For the full story, head to our website, and we'll let you know as soon as the jury reaches that verdict. It's now been more than a month since Tony Mac Kronos vanished. On Wednesday, Anchorage police say the FBI searched a duplex that shares a fence with his Eagle River property. Kronos was last seen March 6th. His sister spoke with us about their last conversation and the life he was building before he disappeared.
He had just bought land in Hawaii. And so I was kind of telling him, I'm proud of you, I love you. This is awesome to see you living your life. And he was good, and he was going to work, and just life, just catching up with a sibling.
We can't confirm whether the search is directly tied to Tony Kronos' disappearance, but property records show the duplex investigators searched is owned by an Anchorage police officer. It sits right behind Kronos' home, and neighbors tell Alaska's news source there were tensions between the two. The case has many in Eagle River talking, including a woman who can see Kronos' house from her own.
It's a quiet neighborhood, so you know, when things out of the ordinary are happening and police cars are showing up and a crime scene investigation truck is outside someone's house, you kind of know something's up.
Another neighbor told Alaska's news source that the FBI was in the area earlier this week with a canine team. They say one of the dogs alerted to something and then went straight to the duplex. So far, police haven't released any official details about what they're investigating. A 21-year-old man accused of killing his father and burning down a cabin where authorities say the murder weapon was found was in court Wednesday as well. Grant Wells was arraigned in Palmer, facing charges including murder, arson, and tampering with evidence. Investigators say he shot his father with a shotgun, then set fire to a cabin with the weapon still inside. Wells was appointed a public defender who argued a $750,000 bond was too high, requesting $10,000 instead, with conditions like house arrest, no contact with victims, and a third-party custodian.
It does apply that this individual is a danger to the victim, and there is a substantial risk that he will not appear. I think that the allegations do not rebut that presumption, specifically the allegation that Mr. Wells allegedly fled, allegedly was found in a cabin, and eventually that cabin, again, was set on fire, and the other circumstances with regard to bail.
A Palmer judge upheld the $750,000 bail request, saying Grant Wells is a flight risk and presents a danger to the community. Wells is due back in court in May, with his trial set to begin on June 2nd. New today, President Donald Trump is expected to meet with his cabinet at the White House. It comes after he pressed pause on his punishing reciprocal tariffs against most countries, except China. The move sparked an ongoing stock surge, though, as Jared Hill reports, some U.S. business owners say the move just adds to their uncertainty.
Wednesday's Wall Street rally rippled across the world. This morning, global markets opened much higher after President Trump paused his punishing tariffs for at least 90 days. The decision less than 24 hours after they kicked in.
The bond market right now is beautiful.
The baseline tariff now 10%. The White House says up to 70 countries are pushing for talks, but China is retaliating, upping their tariff on U.S. goods to 84%. President Trump hit back with a 125% tax on Chinese imports.
China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate.
Minnesota soybean farmer Bob Worth hopes the trade war ends quickly. He sells most of his crop to China.
Our president will get something done that we'll be very happy with at the end, but it sure is stressful.
While farmers wait to sell, tariffs have prompted some iPhone shoppers to stock up.
I figured I'd get in before the prices went up.
Ahead of yesterday's pause, the European Union announced its own 25% tariff on some U.S. goods starting next week. The president's advisors predict those could also be delayed. Jared Hill, CBS News.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has delayed a vote on a GOP budget plan tied to former President Trump's tax cuts. The Senate's already approved it, but Democrats are sounding the alarm over possible Medicaid cuts. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is challenging Johnson to a public debate on the House floor. So far, Johnson is not accepting the challenge.
Mr. Speaker, I'm ready to yield. I'm ready to debate one-on-one on this House floor. It's an assault on Medicaid, an assault on health care, an assault on nutritional assistance.
Don't believe the lies about that.
The plan calls for $880 billion in cuts over 10 years, and experts say Medicaid will be hard to spare. The program covers 1 in 5 Americans and most seniors in nursing homes. In Juneau, despite stock market gains, Alaska lawmakers are still facing a massive deficit and plunging oil prices. A big problem since oil revenue funds more than a third of the state's budget. With prices now below projections, leaders on both sides say future spending, including for education and the PFD, could take a hit.
Nobody's asking the question, who pays?
how do we pay for this? And I think that most families in Alaska understand that there has to be a way to pay for something. We're not the federal government. We can't print money, so we have to live within our means.
We have 25% of the oil production we used to have, falling prices. This is our new reality. I'm not saying that people who want the PFD in its entirety aren't speaking to a set of values. We just have a significant math problem.
Oil closed at $68.81 per barrel, about $3 higher than the day before, but still well below last week's prices. Financial advisor Al Bez joined Tracy Sinclair to discuss market volatility, changing tariffs, and what it all means for your business, your 401k, and your wallet. You can catch the full conversation on our website, YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcasts. Up next, a story of strength in the dark and turning tragedy into purpose.
I remember asking the medical staff, how can they work in the dark? And that's where they confirmed I'm completely blind. Sometimes I lay under the moon.
He lost his sight, his legs, and nearly his hope, but he found strength through community. Now he's using his music and determination to inspire others.
Snow and more of it across South Central. I'll let you know what to expect as we close out this week, along with some warmer conditions heading our way. But first, a sunrise coming in at 6:52 in Anchorage, 5:58 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back. 14 minutes past the hour. You're going to want to be careful on the roads out there as you head out. The snow is falling again, Aaron.
Yeah, we've got wet roadways, that wet, fluffy snow that is falling across South Central, and we are going to continue to see some of those slick conditions. Looking at areas from across South Central, you can see along the Glen Highway out towards the way station just how wet those roadways are as that snow is falling. It is melting on those roads, but temperatures are holding near freezing, so you will encounter the possibility this morning that you could see some of those slick spots. Notice here as you head out towards downtown, towards the C Street Bridge, we're beginning to see some of that snow accumulate on the roadways. So this is where you're going to see some of the pockets of some of those slick conditions. And that snow could be heavy at times throughout the morning into the afternoon hours. And this is where we're going to be watching for that accumulation to take hold. As you head into the valley, notice just some light dusting on those roadways, as well as out towards some of that vegetation, that dry vegetation. So you still will expect to see that possibility for some slick roads through parts of the valley as well. Rain out towards Prince William Sound with some pockets of wintry mix. We're still holding on to that winter weather advisory through western parts of Prince William Sound, and then snow primarily for all of western Alaska. That includes the Kenai, Anchorage Bowl, and southern parts of the Mat-Su Valley. Active weather remains with us through the Gulf Coast region. We've got another area of low pressure that's moved into the northern Pacific and parts of the western Gulf of Alaska. And of course, you can see from out towards southeast as well as south central, we have been dealing with this influx of rain and snow for a large portion of this week. And while we are going to see this begin to die down to close out the week, we are going to see a resurgence of this moisture as we welcome in next week. Out towards southeast, additional rounds of some rain to be expected. Within the last 48 hours, we've seen upwards of an inch of rain for both Yakutat as well as Ketchikan, while areas through the central panhandle have seen anywhere from a tenth to just shy of about 6/10 of an inch of rainfall. So this light to moderate rain showers, they will continue for the remainder of this week. And we've got ongoing snow for South Central. Notice western parts of the region of South Central. This is where we could expect to see several inches of that snow accumulation. Overnight into tomorrow, we'll begin to see some of that moisture lifting northward through the interior, where we're also expected to see some additional accumulation as well. So winter still hanging on, although spring again will ultimately win out. We're going to be talking about temperatures returning back into the 40s as we welcome in next week. For today, we will stay in the 30s, mid to upper 30s across a large portion of South Central. And you can see that snow chance really stays with us through a large portion of the day. Now into the afternoon hours, we could see a few breaks in some of that snowfall. But for the most part, we are going to keep that snow with us for a large portion of our Thursday. Wet and breezy weather continues out towards southeast, 40s and 50s for those highs for you. Meanwhile, across South Central, we've got areas of snow and rain to be expected across the Kenai. Gusty winds out towards Kodiak with a high of 38 degrees. Seward really has that better potential to see some of that rain embedded within that snow. Inland areas will largely stay all snow. And then, of course, wintry mix possible through Prince William Sound. There is that winter weather advisory that does expire later today. A chance for some snow into the valley. Of course, lighter activity to be expected compared to what Anchorage will see, with those temperatures today topping out at 38. Girdwood at 32 with significantly more snow, where we could see up to 6+ inches. You can see that chance for snow tapers off into Friday. Fairly dry Saturday, and then another round of rain, possibly some wintry mix into early next week.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. He lost his sight, his legs, and his grandmother all within months. But this morning, Shaq Arabuk, known as the Blind Shaq, is turning pain into purpose. And as Joe Allgood reports, inspiring others to keep going even in the dark.
That's what I call myself, the Blind Shaq.
Hailing from the Republic of Palau and landing in Alaska, 30-year-old Shaq Arabuk, a.k.a. the Blind Shaq, is a beacon of hope. But he wasn't always that way. 6 years ago, Shaq woke up from a coma, forever changed.
I remember asking the medical staff, how can they work in the dark? And that's where they confirmed I'm completely blind.
His sight and his legs lost to a flesh-eating bacterial infection shortly after his grandmother died, leaving him hopeless.
Yeah, losing my legs, losing my vision, and then eventually losing my grandma. That's tough.
Shaq moved back to the 49th state and eventually visited the Alaska Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Because I'm a very independent person, I don't always rely on people, but now I realize, like, yeah, you're not the same no more, Shaq. You have to ask for help.
Immediately welcomed by program director Nate Kyle, who is also blind.
He transferred his energy to me because I said, if the program director, Nate Kyle, can do it, I can do it too.
And eventually reminded of a favorite pastime of his when Kyle wandered through the center playing guitar.
Yeah, I heard that, and then I went downstairs, and I'm like, dang, he's playing that beautifully amazing. So it just motivated me, like, Shaq, go back home and pick up or go back to your keyboard.
Now, he plays every day.
Sometimes I lay under the moon, I thank God I'm breathing, then I pray, oh, take me soon, as I
Shaq hopes to teach others the same skills he learned while adjusting to life in the dark.
We still can do it. It's just the blind community, we do everything in the dark.
And in case you're wondering, yes, there is a certain former NBA player he'd like to meet.
Big Shaq meets the Blind Shaq.
Hopefully that can work out and we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
For a deeper look at Shaq's story and to hear Joe's full interview, check out the In-Depth Alaska podcast. You can find it on our website, YouTube channel, or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.